So guys, welcome to Crazy Burger from Orlando, Florida, where it's a rather toasty 34 degrees. Obviously this is going to be a massively different video for me. I don't normally face the camera doing retro gaming videos because I like the subject to be about what I'm talking about rather than the focus being on me. But obviously I'm not at home, so I can't really use those facilities. So what I'm going to do is just sort of maybe walk and talk about all the latest happenings in the world at Evercade in the last few weeks. There's been a lot happening, so let's get to it. This is something else. So 34 degrees is obviously a heck of a lot toastier than what I'm used to in Scotland. We've probably never seen that, maybe even once or twice, but it's usually about double the temperature what it is just now. It's about 17 or 18. Anyway, got on to business. So first thing I want to talk about is obviously the game of the month, which I've not actually heard of or played, so I'll maybe do that when I go back home. I'll sort of do some videos on that and reaction to what it's actually like. It's obviously a 3-in-1 game, but yeah, I can't really talk about it too much. The other news was sort of Roneo's Tale has officially been finalised, and you can actually download that, the update, through the VS, I believe. I don't think there's a handheld update. I'm not sure if you can online do it, but it looks like you need to do the update through the VS. And I really love Roneo's Tale, so it's really good that it's completed. I think it adds maybe an extra boss or two and a few extra levels and tidy up really through the actual game, but I would highly recommend it. I really thought that was a fantastic game, and I'm pleased that it's finally finished. A bit sad that it's took practically almost a year since we got that on Mega Cats Collection 2. It's just a bit, that is what it is, but it's a great game, so we'll not slight it too much because it really is a good game. So you really should get that update onto your VS, and then you can do the update onto your handheld. Obviously updates on the cart for you automatically. There was an issue I think with the recent firmware update, but it seems to have fixed itself. There's been a hotfix added by Blaze that should hopefully sort any issues. Obviously I don't know yet, but I'm just going by what I've read on Discord and the other sites, on Facebook, etc. Yeah, so let's talk about the latest cart releases. Just before I do that, let's see the sort of views I see sitting just now. The boat passing, heading along Riverside. So we're staying at Port Orleans from Riverside. It's lovely, but we're almost done Disneyed out, so we're heading to SeaWorld, Universal next 8 days or so. So we've got another week and a bit left to go from our holiday. It's so warm. I think we're all tired, exhausted, but it will continue on. But yeah, look at that. So peaceful. It pretty much takes you to Disney Springs, which is like a shopping location on site at Disney. Pretty cool. Anyway, so let's talk about the latest cart releases that's been done. So we've got a few announcements, cart announcements. The first one was Alwa's Awakening and Cathedral. It's going to be like a dual cart, and I think this looks really good. They're sort of games that are right on my street, sort of platform adventure, kind of almost like a Metroidvania style game. And it looks like there's quite a lot of depth to Cathedral especially. That looks great. I'm really looking forward to trying that and seeing what it's like. I've seen it's available on other platforms such as the Nintendo Switch, Xbox, PlayStation for example. Price seems to vary. Maybe it's about $10 for Alwa's Awakening and maybe about $12, $13 for Cathedral. You might get it in offer. I noticed that Alwa's Awakening is actually on offer on Steam just now for about $3, so whether it's good value for money, I don't know. It depends on how you see it, but it does seem that the games are going to sell for £17.99 UK pounds. So it's normal pricing, I believe. So I think this should be good value for money. If you're talking physical, for example, they will cost you a lot more physical. And the interesting part is that Cathedral will be an actual first native port on Evercade. which is actually quite interesting. I'm really looking forward to trying those games out. They look really good quality, and I think this is what EliteColeyBoy should really concentrate on, is those new retro style games. I think that's what I get most out of Evercade, is those games, rather than playing another version of some of your older games that you've played tons of times before. There's always a place for that, of course there is, but playing those sort of new retro games, I absolutely love it, especially like Mega Cats and Indie Heroes. Absolutely love it. So I'm really looking forward to that. Hopefully when I get home I'll sort of play through them and do future update videos and what I actually think and how they actually play. Okay guys, so the big announcement I think this week has probably been the C64 collection. Finally we have home computers on the Evercade. We've been asking this pretty much from the start, so it's good that Blaze are actually listening to us. I think they obviously understood that when we got Oliver Twins collection, for example, a lot of us were probably thinking, yep, we'll get Amiga versions, Commodore 64 versions, Spectrum versions. But yeah, we're obviously disappointed that we've not had home computers unleashed on Evercade as yet, but finally that looks like that's going to change. We've now got the C64 collection. They've done a sort of update with, I think it's Retro Games, so I guess they're doing a sort of deal with Retro Games, and this is their way around getting the C64 on Evercade finally. Hopefully that'll open doors to Amiga as well, and maybe we'll see Spectrum and Amstrad, for example, Atari ST down the line. But obviously first and foremost we're going to get the Commodore 64 collection. There's 14 games on the collection. A lot of them are on the C64 Mini, some of them are not. There's a few actually on the Maxi, for example, rather than the Mini. The C64 Maxi was obviously the full version Commodore 64 with the working keyboard, and it's not the best selection of games, I'll have to be honest. It's not your recognised classics that Commodore 64 was sort of renowned for. I had one back in the day. I still have my Commodore 64. It's one of the few things I still own from back in the day. I've sold most of my stuff on, and I absolutely love Commodore 64. Played all tons and hundreds and hundreds of games, but none of them are ones I would consider to be classics. But there are some good games there. Don't get me wrong, there's 14 games. There's some games there that people have never heard of will probably love to experience the C64 for the first time. It's a little bit like me maybe experiencing Intellivision for the first time. It was really good, but we won't talk about Intellivision Collection 2. So it's really good. There's a good collection of games. I'm not sure why we need summer games and more winter games, for example, but they are pretty good games. There's a few there. It's good to see a Jeff Minter game. Jeff Minter was sort of renowned as being a bit of a sort of boffin, geeky guy that released a lot of sort of quirky style Commodore 64 games, like Attack of the Mutant Camels, I think it was called, and it sounds absolutely crazy, but it was really good. The playability was fantastic. Done other games such as Hover Bother, which is on the C64 Maxi, I believe. I remember playing that back in the day as a free game on a demo disc, and it was fantastic, really good. But yeah, it's great to see guys like him on there. What I really would love to see is more sort of your indie games. There's the indie homebrew scene for Commodore 64 is absolutely fantastic. It's probably right up there with the NES. I think those two platforms really have a great sort of indie homebrew scene, which I hope we see more of, such as the Carlton Handley games, and I've talked a lot on my channel. I absolutely love them, like Grid Pix and Millie and Molly. I hope they see them at some point on the Evercade, because they are absolutely brilliant. But that's just a few. There are lots of indie games out there and homebrew games for the Commodore 64. But for the games that we're getting on the Commodore 64 collection itself, I've only played a few of them. I wouldn't say any of them are particularly amazing. There's some good games, but yeah, once I get home I'll do a full sort of update and play through them all and give you my thoughts and feedback as we normally do. But obviously where I am, I can't really do that, so I'll do that when I get back. But that's just my thoughts. It's good that we've got Commodore 64 on the Evercade. It's a great start. I'm absolutely delighted. Finally, we've got home computers on the Evercade. It's certainly going to open doors for future collections such as that and other home computers, hopefully maybe the Amiga as well. But it's all about getting those games that are going to appeal to everyone, and it would be great to see some of those classics. Some of them are going to be unrealistic, I think, such as Turricane. Obviously you'd love to see them. The Speedball 2 version on C64 was fantastic. I really loved it. I'd love to see Creatures, but it seems like the sort of Thalamus collections that were on C64 Mini are not on the Maxi, so I didn't really realise that, so the license may have sort of run out. But that's a bit of a shame, because Creatures is definitely one of my all-time favourite Commodore 64 games, which I would have really loved to have seen on the Evercade. Maybe we'll see it one day, they'll sign up Thalamus. Maybe we'll see some System 3 at some point, I really hope so. We're obviously going to see more collections, but whether it's just the games that are on the minis and maxis, let's hope not, because they're not the best selection of games on these mini consoles. There's some good games there, but they're not the best, and they're not what most Commodore 64s would recognise as being classic Commodore 64 titles. But we'll wait and see. We're not going to be too harsh at this particular time. It's just great that we've got these on the Evercade, and there's a lot to get excited about. It's been a really good month to be on the Evercade, that's for sure. I'm really excited for the future of it. There's obviously a few negative things. I mean, it's not all rosy all the time, which I try to sort of balance a little bit on the channel. You have to recognise that sometimes they don't always get it right. It's not always the great selection of games, for example. But yeah, I'm sort of just prattling on a little bit now. What I'm going to do now is just say cheerio, and we'll catch you again next time. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll catch you again next time. Bye for now.